Thank you for joining us. This is Business Incorporated coming to you live from Lagos, Nigeria. I'm Chimezi Obi Iwago. Coming up on the show, global equities downturn continues today. And commodities dragged into global sell-offs as oil to copper get hit. Plus, UK floats export financing facility worth £750 million for Nigeria and backed by guarantee in the local currency. Now let's get the show started with the markets. And here on the African continent, the markets are also experiencing sell-offs following global rout. The Nigerian market was down 1.08% at intraday. South Africa was down 1.52%. Egypt down 2.17%. However, Nairobi bucked the trend to close up 0.12%. That was yesterday. And in the Middle East, stock markets fell today because of the global downturn in equities, but the region outperformed emerging markets in Asia, where MSCI's broadest index of Asia-Pacific shares, ex-Japan, was down 3.7%. And the Saudi stock index fell 1.56% at intraday, with the biggest bank, National Commercial Bank, losing only 0.5%. Dubai's index fell 1.53% as fallen stocks outnumbered gainers by 33-2. Abu Dhabi's index sagged 0.90% as Dana Gas tumbled 4%. In Qatar, the index lost 2.11% as fallen stocks outnumbered gainers by 34-2. Salam International Investment plunged 9.5% after dropping by its 10% daily limit on Monday when it posted an annual net loss of 89.9 million reals versus a year earlier profit of 119.7 million reals. And to Europe now, stocks tumbled in the early hours of today's trading session on the back of heavy declines seen in Asia and the US. Let's talk to Daniel Koo. Good afternoon, Daniel. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, Heather, Jimmy, greetings from Frankfurt, where all the investors now are looking what will be happening later on Wall Street. We're getting first indication that also there the U.S. futures are dropping again, so we might see another day of losses.
Yeah, I guess so, but at the time it was actually coming up a little bit, but just wondering what's going to happen eventually. Anyway, now talking about the global market, any idea of who, what, and why of these global markets clobbering now entering the third day?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. When we looked yesterday on what was happening at Wall Street and we saw those major losses there, the very interesting thing is that there was not a real, like a big reason. Of course, investors are worried that we might see more interest rate hikes happening in the United States. Already now they are talking about 3, maybe even possible 4 interest rate hikes. Then we had the new head of the Fed being sworn in. Also yesterday when we saw those massive droppings happening at about 3 p.m. Eastern time in the United States. By that time Donald Trump was speaking. But all of this were not really big reasons. What was happening yesterday was sort of a mass panic happening at the stock market in the United States. It seems when those shares were dropping, many people wanted to have the opportunity to pretty much get the exit ticket. That's why we saw those big losses happening yesterday. Also in Asia, you mentioned it, a similar picture with major losses. Here in Europe, the scenario today is a little bit different. When I came into the stock market this morning at around 6 a.m., the forecast was actually that we would be starting here with a loss of maybe 7 or 8%, even under the magical 12,000 mark. Just to keep and put this into perspective, on January 23rd, so really not long ago, we had a level here at the stock market with a new record high of 13,500 points. Then the day, yeah, we started with big losses, more than 3% down. That's the biggest losses we have seen here happening at the blue chip index DAX since more than 1.5 years. It has a little bit recovered. Let me have actually a look right now. Right now we are down with 1.92%. A similar picture also happening at the other big indices here in Europe, CAC 40, FTSE 100 in England, and the SMI in Zurich as well. They are all down at a level of about 2%. It seems that investors here in Europe, they are thinking a little bit more with their head, with their brain. They're saying that not too much has changed since yesterday. Of course, there is this fear of higher interest rates, but at the same time, they are also saying that we are not going to see a recession happening. So that's why we are seeing not this strong reaction here at the market. And many investors are saying that this is a sort of a healthy correction, actually.
And I'm just wondering what the general mood right now is among the traders on your floor there in Frankfurt. And of course, if this is a talking point at train stations and restaurants at lunchtime or even at dinner table.
Well, it's certainly a topic here, of course, at the stock market. I mean, I can tell you that since we are now seeing the market recovering at least a little bit, that investors are a little bit relaxed at the moment, at least. But this morning when I came in, I saw many faces being very worried. An investor was telling me that he was really expecting that we would be under the 12,000 point mark. But we really have to see what's going to happen this afternoon when trading will be starting again on Wall Street. We have an index, say here at the blue chip index DAX called the VDAX that always gives you an idea how worried investors actually are. And this index is still up, is still alerting. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting what is happening on Wall Street. As I said, I'm just getting those first reports that US stock futures point most likely to a third day on losses. It's going to be very interesting if then we're going to see maybe again a slight correction. But again, in the moment, I guess you can see it. It's going a little bit up at the moment here, at least in Frankfurt. Yeah, let's see what's going to happen. Not really many experts at this moment are, you know, trying to really know what will be happening.
Well, let's just hope it closes up eventually. Anyway, in some good news, a new deal has been reached in Germany to avert a major labor problem. Give us the details, please.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we have seen lots of problems in the past days and weeks with unions here fighting for more money. We are now getting word that at least in the southwest of Germany, they were able to get an agreement. This means that there we're not going to see more strikes happening. In the last weeks, we have seen strikes happening in many sectors, also at car makers, for example, at Ford in Cologne, also Daimler there in Stuttgart, Germany. So for the moment, at least in this part of Germany, these strikes seem to be off the table, but also those are not final words. And the rest of Germany, still this negotiation is underway.
All right, thank you very much, for your time, Daniel. See you tomorrow.